How's it going? A few months ago, an old friend of mine challenged me to make a certain thing that I'm going to try to do for you today for the first time. She challenged me to make Korean cream cheese garlic bread. Not really sure what makes it Korean. It's just your general dinner roll with a little bit of sweetened cream cheese in it and covered in a honey garlic sauce. Doesn't seem very Korean to me. I think the reason it becomes Korean is because it's a street food that they sell over there, so that's sort of what it has the reputation as being. The reason it took me so long to actually get to make this is because it requires a person to know how to make bread, and until very recently I didn't know how to make bread, so now I do. This recipe has 3 phases. First of all, you bake the bread, and then you sort of slice it kind of like a bloomin' onion, and then you put the sweetened cream cheese in between the slices, and then cover it all in the garlic parmesan sauce, and then bake it again. So 3 phases, kind of complicated, but we'll take each one as they come. The ingredients for the bread itself includes 1 cup of milk at room temperature, 5 tablespoons of sugar, 1 gram or about half a packet of instant dry yeast, 3 3/4 cups of bread flour, 6 grams or 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter softened to room temperature, and an egg wash, which is 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of butter. That's optional. We'll do it because we like the way it makes the bread look. So let's go ahead and get the bread started and go from there. So the first step of this is in our mixer bowl, we need to put the bread flour, salt, eggs, sugar, yeast, and milk in there, and we'll just mix it up until it's, starting to make a doughy kind of thing with a fork. And then we'll put it on the mixer with the bread hook and let it go for a period of time until we feel it's kneaded properly. So let's go ahead and take care of that. First thing is the 3 3/4 cups of bread flour. All right, 1 teaspoon of salt, 5 tablespoons of sugar, half a packet of yeast, 2 eggs, and the 1 cup of milk. All right, so let's just mix it with a fork really quickly to get it started, and then we'll put it on the mixer. We're going to run it fairly slow until it gets going, and then we'll crank it up a little bit. All right, looks like it started. We're going to go ahead and crank it up and let it run for about 5 minutes. One of the things we almost missed is the butter. We need to put in 3 tablespoons of butter while this is kneading, so we caught it just in time. So we're going to go ahead and add the 3 tablespoons and let it go. All right, so looks like this is done kneading. We're going to go ahead and dump it out on this mat here, and we're going to give it a couple of little extra kneads, and then we're going to drop it into a bowl with some oil and let it rise. Just a little bit extra hand kneading. All right, we have a nice dough ball. We're gonna grease a little bowl here, and we'll put that in, and we're gonna let it rise. All right, it's in the bowl, so we're gonna let it rise here for about an hour, and we'll see you back then. All right, this has been rising for about an hour. I'm not totally thrilled with the amount that it rose, but it is what it is. So we're going to now take this, we're going to cut the dough up in, we're going to knead it a little bit first. Then we're going to cut the dough up into 8 equal sized little dough balls. We're going to put them on parchment on a baking pan, and then we're going to let it rise for another half hour. So let's go ahead and get this cut up into the little dough balls. First thing we're going to do is do a little more kneading on this to get any of the air out that's in there. I like the way that risen dough feels. They said to knead it another 5 minutes post rise. All right, we're going to use our tool here and cut it into 8 equal sizes, roll it into balls, put it on the parchment. All right, we have our dough balls made. We're going to now put a little bit of plastic wrap over these and let them rise for another 30 minutes. And then we will put them in the oven. But in the meantime, while they're rising, we're gonna go ahead and make the other parts of this little recipe here, phase 2 and 3. So let's get these covered in a nice warm place, and then we'll start on the other parts. Okay. All right, so the next phase of this requires us to go ahead and make the sweetened cream cheese. That includes the 2 packages of cream cheese that we're gonna just spread out over the bottom of this bowl, 5 tablespoons of sugar, and 1/4 cup of heavy cream. We'll whisk that together, and we'll then put it in a piping bag, and that'll be what we will apply to the cuts of the buns when they're ready. All right, so on top of the cream cheese, we're going to put 5 tablespoons of sugar. And it says to thoroughly mix. Now, I don't see how you thoroughly mix that without a mixer. It doesn't say anything about using a mixer. I feel like I need to use a mixer for this, so I'm going to mix it up. There was clearly only way to thoroughly mix that. All right, we're going to add in 1/4 cup of heavy cream and continue mixing. All right, that looks very much like frosting. All right, now we're going to put this into a piping bag and set it aside. Well, that was a bit of a mess. I don't have a lot of experience with piping bags, but we got it in there. Piping bag is full and ready for the bread. Let's see. Next we're going to make the last part, and that's the sweet garlic butter. And we'll take 3 sticks of unsalted butter, 2 bulbs of garlic pressed. That is not 2 cloves, that is 2 bulbs. 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of honey. So let's get that started. We're going to go ahead and melt the butter, and then we'll press the garlic into it. All right, we've got the butter pretty well melted. We're going to go ahead and crush the garlic into there. I have pretty large bulbs, cloves, so I kind of underdid the number, but I think it will, pan out because these are huge cloves. All right, the garlic's next. All right, next is 4 tablespoons of condensed milk. All right, 2 eggs, and then 2 tablespoons of honey, and that'll be it. All right, now I'll go ahead and whisk all this together, and then this will be ready to apply to the finished buns at the end. And it's now time to go ahead and put the buns in the oven. Let's go ahead and do that for 20 minutes. All right, in 20 minutes we will get the buns out, and we'll start our next process. See you back then. All right, it's been 20 minutes. We're going to go ahead and take the buns out. We're going to put them on this cooling rack and let them cool for maybe like 10 minutes or so. All right, let's get them. Holy cow. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I'm a little concerned because the rolls are still hot, but I don't want to pipe in the cream cheese into a hot bun because I don't want it to run off. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and cut these, and I'm going to put them on a plate. And with the innards exposed, I think it'll cool a lot quicker. And then I'll go ahead and pipe on the cream cheese stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut these and set them aside to cool a little more. Some of them split a little bit, so I'm going to cut along that split. The goal is to not cut all the way through so that they are still attached at the bottom. There we have it. And yeah, they're piping hot on the inside, so this is good. So we will pipe stuff inside there. Cutting is a little difficult. It's a little crumbly, but we'll do our best. All right, they're all cut. We're going to give them some more time to cool down, and then we'll pipe the cream cheese mixture in, and then we will cover them with the buttery glaze, and then we will put them in the oven again. That's the plan anyway. I'll be back in about 5 minutes or so, maybe 10. All right, I think the buns are cooled off enough where I can go ahead and pipe in the cream cheese mixture. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not very good at piping. I'm going to do my best. 3 more. All right, that was hard. Had an absolute mess. The next thing we need to do is we're going to dip this into the garlic butter sauce, and then we're going to spoon more over the top, and then we're going to put it back in the oven for 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and get this finished up. We're just going to dip the bottom in, get a good coat on there, and we're going to spoon the rest over the top. I think this is supposed to be a lot less solid than it is, but I think this works too. It's going to clear into a glaze as it finishes up here. So all right, they're done. Look at these beauties. We're going to go ahead and serve them up with dinner right now. We'll see what everybody thinks about it.
Look at all that cream cheese. Okay.
Good? Your turn.
Good. Oh my gosh! That is so good and so unusual.
I know.
Mmm.
You can't decide whether it's sweet or
It's sweet
or-
and salty. I'm trying to think what kind of sweet. It's like it's like a ricotta or something, or like it's like a cheese blintz.
Yeah,
You like it?
Mm-hmm. Very good.
it's very good. That's a keeper.
It's kind of a slog to make, but all right, my turn.
Yeah. I think you'll find it worth it.
Here we go.
What do you think?
I was reveling in the moment. It's really quite tasty. It's funny. It starts out kind of sweet, and then rolls into a garlicky saltiness.
Yeah.
It's very good. Very, very, very good.
Very unusual.
It is very good.
Well, I would like to thank my friend Kathy for suggesting this or challenging me with this. It was a challenge. I've never done some of the stuff that I did in this before, but I think it came out pretty good. Anyway, that's it for this time. I'm going to go ahead and go eat my dinner now, but we'll see what happens in the next episode. We'll see you guys later.